Hey everyone, Duke Nougat 3D bringing you more interesting shit from my collection. And today I have a American World War I Richardson, Flory, and Kops gas mask. Now, the RFK mask was the final and ultimate design product of the SBR, BSBR style gas masks that were commonly used by Allied forces in World War I. The RFK was essentially an improved variant of the CEM by incorporating a 6-point head harness over the 5-point and making a wider face blank in order to facilitate cleaning the lenses easier while wearing the mask, but we'll get to that function in a minute. The RFK mask is named after three members of the U.S. Chemical Warfare Service at the time: Ralph Richardson, E.L. Flory, and Waldemar Kops. Kops would become a more widely regarded name in the terms of early U.S. respirator development during the First and after the First World War. The RFK is surprisingly an uncommon mask, despite having been produced in greater numbers than the corrected English model, with over, I believe it was 9 million RFKs produced during the war, but I could be very wrong about that, so forgive me. My example here is in very, very nice condition, considering that it was in fact used in the field and is almost nearly 100 years old. It is pretty much just 99 years old as it currently exists right now. Let's see, what should we start with? The carrier. Let's start with the carrier here. This review is speeding along quite quickly. Carrier is your typical small box respirator style carrier, boxy in shape, worn on the chest, held to the chest with this bit of waxed cord here. You have this long, nice, thick, sturdy canvas strap that when you were wearing at the side in the non-ready position, it would be extended all the way like this. But when you were ready to wear it in your chest, which is when you were in country in the field, you would do up this little number here, this little clip, and then that would shorten the strap and make it so that you could wear the carrier on your chest and have it ready to open up at a moment's notice and don the mask. Inside the carrier, we have some markings. I'm not sure if any of these regard the date, and if they do, it would obviously be 1918, considering that the RFK was designed in 1918 and began production in such. The carrier does not have too much to it. There is a internal divider for one side holding the mask and the other side holding the filter. And if you can sort of see, there is a metal spring down by where the filter rests, and that is so that the filter does not suck up the bottom of the carrier and make it difficult to breathe. There were actually user markings on this carrier at some point. You can sort of faintly see them here. I'm not sure if this camera will pick them up, and I have not been able to discern what they say because they are way too faded for me to read, but someone has went and wrote on their carrier their name or their branch, division, whatever. Very interesting stuff, although this is common for World War I gas mask carriers. You also have another serial stamp right here, which is, again, very faded, but carrier is very simple, nothing much to that. Overall, very good condition. You have one accessory here. There's actually a couple accessories for this mask. You have the envelope, which contains the instructions, the record, and the repair plasters for using the mask. And this is very fragile. This is not a very good condition one. This would normally be tied around the filter or the end of the hose. You have the instructions, correct use of the gas mask. I'm not going to read all this. You can sort of look at it here, and I'll flip the pages and such. Inside you have the record book, hours worn, what type of gas, user information. This stuff right here, this is actually the tape that came off of the where the outlet valve was, and also tape from the inlet valve, the filter end of the hose, so in case I might want to repair that, but leaving it off for now. And then these are the repair plasters themselves. This little safety pin that's inside here is for adjusting the harness, although this would only be usable on a CEM because of its 5-point head harness, where that could be used on the top strap to cinch up the excess material and then, shorten it with that safety pin. But I don't see how that would work on an RFK having a 6-point head harness. That's all there is to that. I unfortunately do not have the anti-dimming compound for this mask, which comes in a very long mustard brown colored tube well, not tube, but it is a little tin, a little cylindrical shaped tin with the metal tube inside of it and a polishing cloth. Again, I do not have this, and World War II era ones are not the same as them, the World War I examples. The filter I have with it is actually incorrect. RFK's always had the green Type J filter, but this one came with a yellow CEM Type H filter, and the reason this is that the original filter on this example is missing. Some numbskull decided to be a genius and take a hacksaw and cut through the filter and leave the remaining filter stem lodged inside the hose. I went ahead and removed this just for preservation issues or purposes. And the person I bought this off of, Pixel Productions, was nice enough to send me a CEM filter to go with it, so I do have a complete set. And I wouldn't doubt that at some point, if they were replacing the filter, they would have had a stock CEM H-type filter on hand instead of the green J-type. They would have probably just used whatever they had. Another thing to notice is that the inlet valve on the bottom of the filter was completely petrified, so I had replaced that with a piece of rubber, which is actually made out of the face blank of my first GP5, which is now broken, sadly, but kind of interesting. Let's move on to the mask itself. Let's move all this crap out of the way for you. So, as I've said, the mask, very, very nice condition for its age, being almost 100 years old. The hose, you don't really see too many hoses hold up this nicely. There's a little bit of collapse right here, but it is overall holding its shape, and everything is very soft and cushy. The valve assembly in and of itself, as typical, there is missing paint rubbed off. It is missing the outlet valve, or the flapper valve as they're called. There are size and serial stamps on the nose clip pouch. The lenses are a bit scratched, but are very clear. They are completely see-through. Most of the rubber sealant on the seams is intact. The harness, as you can see, is completely stretched out and is unusable. As you can see, there are two harness points on the top of the mask, indicating that it is, in fact, an RFK and not a CEM. The rubber on the inside of the mask is in impeccable condition, very pliable, very soft, little to no cracking on the inside. And why don't we move ahead to the inside of that right now. So, inside the mask, as you can see, like I said, all the rubber is very smooth and intact. There's little to no damage to that. The nose clip is intact, as you can see here, but it is unfortunately missing the mouthpiece that would be right here, and I do not have a means of replacing this, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. The face seal, this is quite possibly one of the very first gas masks with a interned periphery face seal, something that didn't really come around until like the third or fourth generation, as they're called, masks, like the M40 or MCU. It's kind of weird to think that a gas mask from 1918 has an interned face seal, but technically it does. The lenses, you can see how they're stamped on the inside, and there's a bit of extra material to provide a seal. Squeezing the outside nose pouch, you can open up and separate, the nose clip here. Oh, I probably have that off camera, I apologize. But anyways, like I was saying, if you squeeze this, it can open up and separate the nose clip. I'll just let you see all the details that I probably didn't show you because I was being retarded and I held the mask too high and I forgot they had the camera angled down this much. But anyways, like I was saying, interned periphery face seal, technically. Very interesting on a World War I mask. Missing the mouthpiece, like I said, in case you didn't see that before. And the rubber, as I said, very smooth, very pliable, no cracking, except for in some very minor spots, and even then it isn't a threat to the mask's structural integrity. So that about wraps it up for my Richardson, Flory, and Kops mask. I'm very pleased to own this example. I know some of you are probably going to scream like, oh, Duke Nougat, why aren't you wearing gloves to handle this? And it's like, I mean, I guess I could, but it's not like it's in immediate danger of degradation. If this was a piece where everything was like flaking apart, everything was falling apart, and it was just fragile to the bone, and I might consider doing that, but it's like, my hands aren't like a greasy oil bomb that's gonna, destroy the rubber in one touch. It's fine. Nothing's gonna happen to this mask, and it's in good care. So, no need to worry about that. and it rarely gets moved off of my shelf. It's only it just sits there, to be honest. I don't ever take this off the shelf, and I'm just doing it for this video, so no need to worry about anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any further information pertaining to this mask, I'd love to hear it. I might have already heard it at some point, but it never helps to mention it, I suppose. I will be doing the rest of my collection here. Kind of pumping out as many videos as I can a day just to, fill in the gap of everything that I've taken down over the years. And it's all just stopgap videos that are very quick like this, as I've mentioned. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and I hope you got a chance to see a very pristine condition Richardson, Flory, and Kops. So, that being said, I'm Duke Nougat 3D, and I'll see you later.